Yeah, so this is the seat here. Actually, this is the Hero Comfo DX. This is a vintage style seat frame basically. It doesn't really have any padding on top. So what we are trying to do here today is, with the springs beneath the frame and the two additional springs for support, we are trying to get some foam on top so that we have a much better riding experience. Currently, I'm using a Schnell Holts 008 bicycle 29-inch frame, and I found that the stock seat was not really helping me out. I mean, it was not comfortable for me. I maybe did not prefer the slim seat, and it caused me a lot of backache and a lot of pain in my sitting joints. And that's the reason I thought that yes, it's not really going to work out for me if I want to do bicycling in the long run. Now, the idea here is the cycle seat already provides you a lot of suspension in forms of springs and a lot of support in terms of the larger springs. So if we get some foam on top, that would definitely help us getting a much more comfortable ride. The idea is not to create a desi version of a bicycle or an MTV, because the problem here is I'm trying to use my MTV within the city roads. I'm trying to use it for general cycling. So this kind of a vintage seat or a cruiser seat would help me to get a longer distance out of my every ride. The foam that was being used here is from a Activa scooty, if I'm not wrong. So this is a stock kind of a foam, which is the best if you consider for seating. These are much more better in quality and would help your ride quality a long way. So right now what we are trying to do is we'll try to, like, we have glued this seat already, the foam to the seat frame. The person whom I went to was very knowledgeable actually, and my work became much more easier. Since he knew his work, I just had to tell him what I required, what was my expectation, and so he used a 2-inch foam here, and which after sanding and shaping up would come down to around 1.5 inches of thickness. Now while I let him to do his work peacefully, I just thought of recording this and sharing it across for all of you. If it works out for anyone else, that would be great actually. So I'm currently based at Bangalore, and this is at Bannerghatta Road in Hulimavu, beyond Kempamma Devi temple. So if anyone stays in this area, maybe you can visit his shop and you can find it much more useful. So he was pretty much knowledgeable, and he himself instructed me on how to get this seat done. So his idea was to get a thick foaming on top and then get a nice quality PU leather foam, not leather foam, sorry, PU leather covering on top, just which is used in the motorbikes. So cycling is kind of a tailor-made thing, I believe. For me, it might be different for you, it might be different for another person, but for me the issue which I was facing is the slim seats, which I was never used to during my childhood. So right now, after starting cycling again, I already purchased one cycle in the past and I sold it off again because it was very painful for me. But now I'm quite determined to continue and do more of cycling for my own health reasons. So that's the reason I thought that let's get a more comfortable seat which will actually help me in continuing in the long run. And like they say, old is gold. I think this applies to this case as well, because the newer seats might look sporty, might look slimmer, but it's not really correct for everyone, at least not for me, because I prefer a much more comfortable ride. Now this was his version of waterproofing the seat, because there will be stitches on the seat cover. So his idea of waterproofing is to put an additional plastic sheet on top, which would be glued to this foam seat cover, the foam seat, and then the seat cover would come on top. Thereby whatever stitches were there would become kind of waterproof, and the foam would not receive any water at any point, even after even if it rains or there is some cleaning which is done to the bicycle. Now for the seat cover part, we are going with a standard seat cover PU leather kind of a thing. Right now this is being used for motorcycles for preparing the seat covers. I thought this is something which I have already used for motorbikes, and this would be something which would be comfortable in using a bicycle as well. So right now, yes, you may look at a shabby seat which is being prepared, which looks really thick, but I feel this is something which is about comfort and which is about the long run. So yes, you need to get a seat which is comfortable for you and which helps you ride longer. Now the issue with these kind of seats is that I kept searching for this vintage style seats online for almost a week, and I couldn't find any links or any website which sells them. So at the end I had to visit my local cycle store, and I had to ask him with specifications regarding the kind of seat I was looking for. So there are other options as well, but I found the Hero Comfo DX to be the most good looking and most suitable for my purpose, because the other vintage seats that are available in maybe B30 or B50, those springs get a little more harder, so you can check your own body weight and accordingly you can maybe go for those. For me B12 was sufficient, so I went for a B12 spring system. Now back onto the sewing machine. Right now what we are trying to do here is we're trying to put an elastic thread inside this seat cover, which is almost finished now. So once this goes inside, we don't have to glue the seat cover at all to the seat. This will just stay on top, and the elastic will help it to stay in place so that we don't have any kind of shifts or movements while riding the bicycle. Now here comes the final fitting of the bicycle seat that we have prepared. It took almost an hour for this person to prepare it. He has been very patient throughout preparing this entire bicycle seat for me. He listened very carefully and intently to whatever my specifications were, and he's prepared this seat. I'm quite happy actually with the final output that has come out, the final result that has come out. The only thing right now that is required is to test this on the bicycle directly and see for ourselves. So this is the final seat that has come out to us with the seat cover.